Hello everyone, welcome to a new video for Jasmy, Psy, and a Vechain price prediction based on Elliott wave analysis. We're gonna start with Jasmy here on the daily chart where we have our three waves toward the downside, starting this chart here. Corrective for lower, which I don't like it so much. However, kind of like a new psychology has been found in this area. And we start, of course, an impulse here 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 towards the upside. Clear impulse with wave 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for wave 3, correction for wave 4, ABC, and then, of course, wave 5 impulse towards the upside. After this, we saw again a very complex structure toward the downside. It's a W, X, Y, X, and a Z, an ugly complex structure corrective, finishing around the 0.618, 0.786, and of course, starting the impulse toward the upside, where we have potentially a diagonal here as a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 to finish up, of course, as a zigzag for a wave C here, or as a wave 3 towards higher prices. So we don't want to forget here that we might have also an ABC. Yeah, very important. A, B, and a C. Also, this might be a potential scenario. The wave C is lower than the wave 3. And of course, in this case, I would say that the one-to-one fib level has to be tested from this area as a wave 1 or a wave A first. As one-to-one fib level, we would like to see a zigzag, and this zigzag is around the 0.19. Okay, so this is a testing area for a potential A, B, and a C here. And then, of course, moving toward the downside corrective after 3 ways down, 3 ways up, of course, as a zigzag. In case you finish as a zigzag, you have to expect a massive move toward the downside, impulsive, of course, after all. So yeah, we have to be careful with it. Of course, at this level, currently we are very bullish. Of course, we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whether a wave C or a wave 3. Of course, the wave 3 can reach even much more higher. We're talking here about the 1.618. It can be even, of course, much more logarithmic, moving very high. Now, basically, if you are not, if you don't want to follow the logarithmic fib levels here, of course, which is normally I prefer it. So if you remove the logarithmic here, you might face, of course, different scenarios. And I think this is much more logic, I would say, to keep the fib levels a little bit much more linear rather than fib logarithmic on the logarithmic system. So basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for a wave C, wave 1 can be 0.0721. If we break this impulsively, therefore I come back to the logarithmic fib levels, okay? So let's keep the saying, think safe. Basically on the 2 hours chart here, we are looking at the following impulse internally where we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, wave 1 or wave A, ABC toward the downside, a perfect fib level for wave 2, continuation impulsively for higher prices. Now inside this impulse, we have of course 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, finished wave 1 or wave A, W, X, and a Y. This is your low exactly here, and then another impulse, knowing that this wave 2 is a little bit longer in time, but still of course can be a complex structure as well. W, X, and a Y, 1, 2, and then having 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. So internally, if I want to count this also as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, for wave 1 here, we have wave 2, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I would say this is your wave 3, 4, and a 5. This is in the white scenario, okay? And this one is gonna be the blue one, right? There we go. And preferably in brackets, here we go. So internally, we see also a 1, 2, and then 3, 4, and a 5. This one is the very micro. And to finish wave 3, and currently you're working on a wave 4 based on this wave 2. So targets for this wave 2, of course, when we start to move on toward the upside again, might be, of course, the following targets. Wave 4 as an impulse. You might reach the 0.23, 0.014. And this, of course, can be this blue zone. It can be, of course, for lower in case it dive for deeper correction. So based on timing, of course, this blue box is preferred on 12th July. So potentially tomorrow, this correction will be done. and of course start the move for higher for wave 3, wave 5 as well can be finished. Okay, so that's it for basically for Jasmy here. Jasmy is looking great, and I would say it might unfold something towards higher prices. Definitely 1-to-1 fib level is a minimum testing level and potentially for higher. The next one is Psy on the daily. For Psy, we are looking, of course, for the daily here. On the daily chart, we have a kind of like can be a wave A here because we see potentially only 3 waves up. I don't see an impulse yet. Now it can be this an impulsive wave 5. Can be like but this is of course like an expanding diagonal, guys. Yeah? Taking the high. So very low possibility, higher possibility here goes for corrective wave, and you might be in potential ABC expanding flat. Therefore, yeah, higher possibility goes for wave A here. A wave W also can be mentioned here as well, don't forget. So in both case scenarios. And then you have here an A, B, and a C finished correction for wave X or wave B, and you simply move toward the upside. 1, ABC wave 2, and you have a wave 3, 1.618, and then 4 and a 5 toward the upside. Now be careful, because once you finish this impulse, your wave Y might be here, can be, of course, and that because you start to finish here kind of like a zigzag. However, this in comparison with the W is, of course, incredibly impossible. Yeah, you would like to see a bigger structure here for this wave Y. Therefore, I believe that we might see something bigger than this. We might see in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, this is a wave A that it can be here, B and a C potentially. Therefore, I call a wave Y here. The wave C, of course, is a little bit higher. The potential targets for a wave C here might be, of course, the 1-to-1 fib level, 1.05 as well in a regular flat, where you might see, of course, those targets. Okay, this is the potential target for Psy in case we are very bullish. Okay, taking the all-time high 1.47. All right. This is regarding the daily. Of course, the wave Y can be simply once the structure here is finished. It is not necessarily to take the high. Now let's move inside the 2 hours chart here to see what's going on inside it in the micro level. On the micro level, of course, we see a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, wave 1, wave 2 given, and then 1, 2, 3, wave 4, and you start already in another 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. This wave 3 has to reach the blue box 1.618, of course, as a wave 3. Then, of course, proceed with the wave 4, which it might be, of course, long in time. You have to expect a wave 4 longer in time based on the wave 2 here. So yeah, be ready for it, of course. And yeah, then unfolding finally a wave 5 toward the upside, and then 4 and a 5. Here we go. So this is how it might end up here. And of course, this wave 4 and a 5 can be even much more higher later on. So 2 targets in this case scenario, and that this analysis take a little bit longer time to come back to it. You have 2 targets, of course, that you might reach later on. All right, that was it for Psy. So basically we have Vechain as well for VET. Let's start also on the daily, where we are looking at, of course, yeah, something corrective as well toward the upside, wave A or W. We have ABC here, another ABC for wave B or X, and we start an impulse toward the upside. Basically, you should have finished a correction here, moving for higher, but obviously this has turned to expanding flat, ABC, and shifting the wave 2 for later. And you have to consider, of course, this is a wave 2, looking for a wave 3, 4, and a 5, and this is simply the start of it as a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 for a wave 3. Let's move inside it to see what's going on, of course, on the lower time frame here for VET. So basically, we are looking here, and it's very hard to call even an impulse inside it, honestly, right? It's very hard because you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 invalidation. But what I'm thinking here, what if this is your wave 1 here, right? Where you have kind of like a big wave, extended wave 1, 2, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 for a wave 3, and then 4 and a 5. Okay, so I'm gonna give it a chance here. Of course, since most of the altcoins are moving up, so we're gonna keep a little bit, of course, the things. Yeah, we're gonna take it easy a little bit, right? So let's say, of course, this is your wave 2. By the way, your wave 2 is very close to the 886, already a signal of weakness as well. So we have two signals of weakness in this chart, so be careful with it. Of course, as I mentioned before, be selective always, guys. Be selective with your coins and with your trades. So basically right now we are looking at a potential continuation for higher prices. Let's move inside it on the 1 hour chart here. Inside it, we are looking, of course, after this A, B, and a C here. Sorry, already, yes, already given. After this A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, you have a wave 1 exactly over there. You have a wave 2, and then 3, 4, 5, and you have another 1, 2 here. 3, 4, and a 5. So basically, it is unfolding something bullish, but be careful because of the 886. It might turn into a diagonal 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Okay, meaning taking the high, but not that much, right? So basically right now, based on the targets for this wave 1 here, if we take the 1.618 as an impulse, you will see that we are very close even to the 2.618, which is potentially the next target for this wave 3. It is a very extended one, very nice for VET here, and we might reach the 0.026. After this, you would like to see, of course, a wave 4, which it might be taking a little bit time, and then 3, 4, 5 as well towards the upside. So next target, of course, is 2.618, and I would say the minimum target here for this potential move towards the upside, in case this is a zigzag, by the way, in diagonal, and because, of course, we have the 0.886 taken here. So you have to consider here, of course, a diagonal, I would say. So wave 3 as diagonal. You might get this as a next target, okay? So this might be your next target. So we're gonna watch and see what's gonna happen, guys. I'm gonna put a blue box, of course, over there as perfection for wave 3. That was it for Sai, Jasmy, and Vechain. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your likes and comments, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.